Next News. Breaking news.
Chicago Democrats are once again claiming victory while their city burns. Governor JB Pritzker stands before the cameras insisting crime rates are falling and Illinois should be proud. Yet over one holiday weekend alone, dozens were shot, a toddler killed, beaches overrun by violent teen mobs, and 5 officers left hospitalized after one attacker tried to run them down. Well, President Trump, he's seen enough and he's calling it out directly. So what happens when the people in charge refuse to admit the obvious danger in their streets? That's the question tonight. You see, this is not just one city's problem. Chicago has become the national test case for progressive governance that tells citizens police cannot keep them safe while elites surround themselves with armed protection paid for by those same taxpayers. When mayors and governors preach reduced enforcement and community programs as the answer, ordinary Americans pay the price in rising disorder, fear, and lost businesses. The contrast with President Trump's America First approach couldn't be clearer. Secure borders, support for law enforcement, and zero tolerance for chaos. So, as you're watching this, know that your own community could face the same collapse if these failed ideas spread. And while Chicago's failures expose the dangers of weak leadership, we got some breaking news on America's critical mineral supply chain showing how real strength is actually built. And the SAGA metals story just got a lot stronger. Less than 48 hours ago, SAGA released new information suggesting its radar project may be sitting on one of the largest titanium and vanadium systems on the entire planet. Now, SAGA trades as SAGMF in the U.S. and SAGA in Canada. It's right there on the screen. Now, to understand this scale, compare radar to China's Panzinhua deposit. That's a state-linked system that's valued in the multi-billion-dollar range. It's also responsible for over 40% of global vanadium supply. Check out the in-depth interview with the CEO on this topic I did just last weekend. Now, this is national security, and it's because securing domestic critical minerals means reducing dependence on foreign adversaries and protecting American manufacturing jobs for generations. Check the exclusive briefing. It's linked below, but it's only for Next News viewers. Now back to the crisis in Chicago, where the contradictions just keep piling up, just like a buffet plate at JB Pritzker's favorite buffet. Now, the latest footage shows even more teen takeovers, turning public spaces into war zones, including attacks on drivers. One confirmed gun arrest right in the middle of the crowds at the exact same time. Reports reveal Mayor Brandon Johnson's security detail, you ready for this, burns through over $30 million a year, while the city claims it can't afford to protect regular residents. So Darren Bailey, who is the candidate who is running against JB Pritzker in the governor's race in Illinois, he posts just a couple hours ago that JB Pritzker is telling people crime is down after a holiday weekend of shooting and mobs. So let's see what the governor has to say here as he stands outside the Special Recreation Center in Champaign.
We've had a couple youth-involved gun violence shootings in Champaign-Urbana and in Danville. With summer approaching, how are you working with local governments, local organizations to try and curb that?
So there are a couple things that I've done since becoming governor that are assisting, and you've seen that across the state we actually have brought down the crime rates. Illinois, I'd like to have the lowest crime rate in the entire country. We're 19th out of 50 states, so I think we should be proud of that, but also focused on doing better. I've funded community violence intervention programs that were never funded before I became governor. In fact, they were defunded. That has helped us address the underlying causes of crime in communities, bring down violent crime in particular. What I can say is that we need to make sure that we're providing summer and year-round jobs for kids so that after school they can be engaged in something that's meaningful and earn something for doing it. We've done that, of course. And then we, of course, provide peacekeepers in some areas where these are people who know how to intervene where there are gangs who are fighting one another and try to stop that kind of violence happening between the gangs.
How about police?
And affecting our communities.
Why not police?
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you all very much.
All right, he's off to his next buffet campaign stop at the Golden Corral. So he claims he's brought crime rates down. Trump just exposing the reality on the ground in Chicago. President Trump posting this. Teen takeover in Chicago. 5 officers badly hurt. Mayor and governor are terrible. Should call for help. See, President Trump wants to help Chicago. But Mayor Brandon Johnson, Governor Pritzker, they call that authoritarianism. Yeah. So let's take a look here. This is a Fox News clip that appears to be attached to this.
Were shot in Chicago over the weekend, including a toddler who died. Here are the mayor and police superintendent.
We want to make sure that we're out here to stop people from being harmed. That's the most important thing. We want to make sure that people are safe, they can enjoy our city. I mean, if you look around and look at how beautiful the city is, this is a beautiful city. We want to make sure that people can enjoy it.
The accountability mechanism cannot just be with teenagers, right? I know where my son was at 3 o'clock in the morning. After he went to prom, he came home. And we need parents to ensure that their children are coming home.
Well, that's not happening. Clay Travis, Outkick founder.
A dozen people shot and injured across the city, including several teens. Mike Tobin has the latest. Mike?
Well, Dana, here we go again. Summer kicks off, the holiday when we're supposed to remember those who paid the ultimate price in service of the nation, and the whole thing gets overwhelmed by violence. Early Sunday morning, another teen takeover a little west of the University of Illinois at Chicago. Chicago police showed up to disperse the crowd, and they were rammed by a car. 5 officers were transported to local hospitals. Each officer survived. Now, police say the driver is 18-year-old Rashad Johnson. He had a weapon with him. He's facing multiple felony charges, including attempted murder, and he's expected in court today. That takeover, just one of many across the city. In the Little Village neighborhood, officers heard gunfire, responded, and found 14 shot. The youngest, 14 years old. The gunman fled the scene. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson went back to a familiar message and said parents need to know where their kids are at 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah. Remember those old commercials? It's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are? So another teen takeover, this time North Avenue Beach, involved more than 100 of Chicago's finest scholars. When they got bored enjoying the sand, they moved west. A group of teens attacked someone at State and Division. Some kids attempted to steal an SUV at LaSalle and Clark. A woman was hit at Elm and Lakeshore Drive. One kid was caught with a gun. Another fight broke out at Clark and North. At about the same time, police were dealing with a takeover involving hundreds of kids at 57th Street Beach. Blocks away, 3 men were shot. Please choose Chicago as your vacation destination this summer, where you can interact with the wildlife and savor the food. And remember, don't demonize our youth who are just looking for something to do. Here's some of the footage that was posted by fake BJ Johnson. Check this out, my goodness.
There's a teen takeover. There's a bunch of cops, a bunch of police. There's at least 40 cop cars. At least 40 cop cars and thousands of teens. This is crazy. They're running, getting on cars, stopping traffic, and there's...
Oh, but they just wanted a couple of Big Macs. Come on. And this from CWP Chicago. This is the gunman who shot 3 people as CPD tried to quell an enormous large group at Hyde Park last night. CPD needs help tracking him down. That's the best we can do here in 2026. Apparently a pixelated image looks more like an alien disclosure from the Department of War as opposed to an actual identifiable image. But police handling as police handled one takeover, a gunman opened fire on 3 people in Hyde Park. I guess we've got some footage of that. This is from Libs of Chicago. We're told that teens are acting like this, just need a safe place to go and enjoy themselves. That's, remember, that is what Governor Pritzker said at the open of this report. What did he say? Yeah, but they just need to have a great place to go and have a job and work and yeah. No, it doesn't work like that, guy. Look at that. Look at that.
You see this?
I'm going full screen on this one. Look at that. Look.
Craziness.
There is no way the cops can handle that.
It is wild on this motherfucker. Right on everywhere. Let's do it, nigga!
Yeah. So that's Chicago. Officials claim these teens need just a safe place to go, but the results speak for themselves. Lives in Plainfield comes to Chicago with the same mentality. It's okay to attack, harass, and try to kill police officers. Donald N. Muhammad. Let's take a look at that. Here we go. Here is the offender charged with attempted murder on multiple Chicago police officers. The offender, Rashad Johnson, 18, of Plainfield. Yeah, that's what we're dealing with, folks. Let's keep going. We got more to dig into. Oh, look at this. Look at this. This is insane. This is another insane street takeover on Lower Wacker, guys. Is that guy, what is he, is that a, what is it? Airsoft? It's gotta be airsoft. Lower Wacker Drive. Yeah, has anyone sent this over to JB Pritzker's office yet? Or Brandon Johnson's office? There's got to be 1,000 kids down there. All just looking for something to do after school. Look at this insanity. And this is just one of the clips that made it to the internet. And so often these cars go out of control. They plow right into these kids that are all standing on the side. Shooting airsoft guns, blow torches, setting fire things. Oh, but they're waving a Chicago flag, so at least they're showing their city spirit, right? Yeah, that's Chicago. 54 people were shot in Chicago over the weekend. Is that a problem? Donald Trump's a dictator. Yeah, that's generally the talking point. So Brandon Johnson's security detail apparently now revealed 150 Chicago Police Department officers. Average salary $150,000 a year. Base cost $22.5 million. Overtime at $33.7 million. And the city's running on crime. Chicago Democrats preach reform while spending $30+ million a year protecting themselves. Here is William Kelly, one of the finer Chicago reporters confronting Brandon Johnson, giving Brandon Johnson just anxiety attacks all day long. If you didn't know, Brandon Johnson spends the majority of his time locked up and tranquilizing himself with anti-anxiety medications because he just can't handle the job. So let's hear what William Kelly's grilling him on this time.
Over the last week, I've literally interacted with over 300,000 plus real Chicagoans who say that it is hate speech for you to evoke the Civil War, to evoke bringing back the Confederacy, to say that law enforcement is a sickness when you yourself have over 150 sworn police officers on your detail. What do you say to these people, and will you ask your 150 sworn police officer CPD detail to stand down if you and your wife Stacy are ever attacked, shot at, or rammed with a protester vehicle?
First of all, I'm sorry to hear that your numbers of interactions have gone down to only 300,000.
Actually millions, but personally I've interacted with over 300,000, believe it or not.
It went down this week.
No, it's going up. Higher than yours, by the way. Okay. By the way, check out your comments. Check out the comments on your feed.
I think it's important to be able to make sure that to the people that you're talking to, though you're talking to less and less people every week, is that they know the truth. Here's what I've said. That the addiction on jails and incarceration and the addiction of militarism. It is an evil. Dr. King made that very clear.
Really?
He did. And so I believe it's incumbent upon us to make sure that the real Chicagoans or the real people of America, instead of sending billions of dollars overseas, we should be spending it on the people right here in the city of Chicago.
Well, the real Chicagoans that I talk to, that I communicate with, mostly black and brown, actually, tell me that you don't seem to know the difference between illegal aliens and real Chicago citizens. They feel that you are siding with the illegal aliens over them in their communities. And sadly,
let's get to the question.
Let's get to the question. The real question is simply this. I don't know how to make it any more direct. An illegal alien from Nicaragua grabbed a woman on the north side last week, bashed her head into the sidewalk, knocked her unconscious, and raped her. If that had been your wife, Stacy, would you want ICE to deport her, to deport that illegal alien? Yes or no? Answer the question as a man, not as mayor, but as a man. Would you want ICE to deport that rapist? No? Okay.
Mayor.
That's the answer. That's the answer for real Chicagoans.
Mayor, sorry for being late to traffic's bad. Maybe the Fed's bad.
You're not blaming me for the traffic, are you?
Ha 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 ha.
Wow. And we're getting a new image of the Chicago school buses. Yeah. There we go. That's the Chicago school bus. Of course. I joke. Nothing to joke, though. Nothing to joke about. So the 18-year-old has been charged with attempted murder after allegedly striking 5 Chicago police officers with a vehicle while officers worked to disperse the unruly crowds.
18-year-old is charged with attempted murder after allegedly hitting 5 Chicago police officers while they were trying to disperse the crowds.
Yeah, watch some of that video of what you're talking about. Listen here, you can kind of hear the aftermath.
Oh my God, he just hit a lot of police officers. This car just ran through a whole crowd of Chicago police officers while we clearing out this block party. Oh my God. This dude right here just ran through a whole crowd of Chicago police officers. This is crazy, dude. Hey, everybody good?
You know why he ran through them? Because there's no respect for authority in Chicago. Ainsley, you and I were talking on air, and I've covered Chicago and many of these major blue cities for decades, for a decade now. Going on the ground, going to the community centers, trying to go the compassionate route, talking with the victims' families when they have been murdered in the middle of the street. There's no respect for authority in these cities. And so as a result of these kids are running the streets right now.
And, of course, President Trump is taking notice. President Trump posting this to Truth Social. Teen takeover Chicago. 5 officers badly hurt. Mayor and governor are terrible. Should call for help. So I'm sure President Trump's phone is wide open. And he's just waiting for the call. That will never come. So the attempted murder charge against the 18-year-old who allegedly plowed into 5 officers crystallizes everything. This is what happens when leaders spend millions shielding themselves while telling the public that policing is the problem. Chicago now stands as the clearest warning that progressive policies create 2 Americas, one for the protected elite and one for everyone else left to fend off the mobs. So the pattern is undeniable. Leaders who disarm their own cities while living behind walls of police protection, they're not solving crime. They're managing their own escape routes. President Trump has offered federal help, and Chicago's failures make the case for law and order louder every day. If you want real solutions instead of excuses, share this report and drop your thoughts below. Hit subscribe. The question, does Chicago prove that soft on crime policies always fail? That's the conversation we want to have with you. And make sure you text the words raw feed to join the thousands of patriots who already have. They've texted those words to 844-840-4963. They're already bypassing the algorithm suppression, and they're getting direct messages from me to their phone when it matters most. And check out the Next News merch shelf below this video. America stays strong when citizens stay informed and demand accountability.
The system controls information. Information control is power.
They don't want you to see this.
The truth only survives together. They don't want this shared. Share this now. You know out.